Steven, I think they're ready for us. You ready?
Yeah.
So, what's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of We Got Next. I'm one of your hosts of the show, Hayes, aka AO Shifty, with the one, the only Steven at Steven_Springs. Just to kind of get things started, housekeeping, because then we're going to dive right into the NCAA tournament. Steven had some big things happen with the Pittsburgh Steelers recently, and then we need to talk about the Chicago Bears as well. But for starters, make sure to clock in on all three of our social media pages, whether it's We Got Next page, whether it's Steven's page or my page, for various different content, especially with the NCAA tournament being here. Of course, we have various different sports topics that have been talked about. If you found anything on mine, you'll know I talk about random only in sports shit, or today it was only in nature stuff that kind of happened. But the hot topic that I want to bring up, it's a random one and we haven't even touched on it at all. But did you hear what Bryce James got for his birthday?
No, but I can only imagine what it was.
So LeBron James gifted Bryce James a mansion in Massachusetts. And that's not necessarily only in sports, only in celebrity ecosystem. Because that's not something my dad's gonna say, you know what, you just turned 17. Here you go. Like if he has one himself, that's amazing. But if you can think that Bryce has one, Bronny has one. So then the kids are about to have their own too. So that's kind of the big thing that I wanted to touch on over there. The other part is I did get a chance to listen to some of LeBron and JJ Redick. Did
Yes,
you get to listen to it?
I had thoughts on that. I watched the whole thing.
Okay, so that's going to be our hot take because then we're going to jump right into the NCAA tournament stuff and then football. But what are your thoughts on it?
So it's not for everybody.
No.
If you hate LeBron, don't bother. If you don't, I don't want to say this and sound like a dick, but like it's true. If you don't understand the game and you're a casual fan, then don't listen. It's really in depth. It's not like the regular podcast. Like I listen to Gilbert Arenas is one I don't pay much attention to anymore. But like Knucklehead with Q Rich and Darius Miles, they just chop it up. They don't go in depth about things. They'll go in depth about like they had Al Harrington on way back in the day. And they talked a lot about what these guys went to high school at, what took them to that high school or what took them to that college, whatever. Then their transition to the pro. They talk about that kind of stuff. So they do go in depth, but like they don't talk about plays. So like this, like if you don't have like a good working knowledge of basketball and you don't understand concepts, X's and O's, certain plays, whatever. And I think you and I are in the same wavelength with that. And don't listen because you're not going to understand it. But I will say, if you do want to understand basketball, if you do want to pay attention and understand the game, then you can watch it because they do have visual breakdowns of certain things. They talked about certain sets that teams run, like for JJ Redick and how he was a 3-point specialist. They would run this and that. He talked about out of bounds plays, and that was like the teaser video that they put out. So we talk about all that stuff. So they do have like visual breakdowns of that. It's not just like a fixed camera on that. For the most part, it is. But when they start going in depth on things, they have like a visual of. They'll talk about it, and then they'll have like a play going on, like a clip of it. And if they talk about like pin downs, they talk about pick the picker, they talk about out of bounds plays. They have little like graphics in the corner that give like a definition of what that is. So like there's stuff within there like where you could follow along. You might have to go back a couple of times and rewatch it and re-listen to it. But if you want to learn the game, yes. If you're just looking to like have a new podcast to listen to, this isn't it. This isn't it. I like you and I both appreciate it because like we understand the game, like the history of the game, we understand concepts, we understand plays. Now there was some shit that they said, and I was like, wait, what? I had to go back and listen a couple of times. But it's super in depth. But they also just chop it up. They also talk about like today's episode. They talked about what makes a perfect player. They talk about basketball IQ. They talked about Steph Curry and Allen Iverson changing the game and how influential they were. They talk about typical stuff. Like it's like you and I chop it up, but like with like a million times higher IQ. So if you're just a casual basketball fan and want a new podcast, don't listen. If you understand the game, you know the game, this and that, definitely give it a listen. I think it's great stuff. I send it to a ton of people, and I send it to a lot of people who don't like LeBron, and I'm like, you gotta get like past that part because his knowledge, and people know this, his knowledge and JJ Redick's knowledge are through the roof, like through
Yes.
the roof. Especially Redick now that he's a broadcaster and sees the game from a different perspective while also maintaining that player perspective. I've said it to so many people, and I'm like, you got to get past the hating LeBron part. And he says some like corny shit in there, but like it's LeBron. You got to take it for what it's worth. So I would say to those people, like dismiss the fact that it's LeBron and you might hate him or whatever. Like dive into it because it's great, great content. And I think I hope they do a ton of them and do breakdowns of like different games. I'm sure they'll do something for the playoffs if it's, if the Lakers aren't going to go on a run or whatever. But nonetheless, I think it's great content and a great new podcast. I also think this is signaling the last 3 or 4 years for LeBron's career.
I
He's
was
going
going
to
to
start
say.
making that transition because he's not committing to something like this if he's not you know, I know he's done movies and shit, but that's always during the off season. This is like during the season. This was like the day after I think they're the Clippers game. So that was like 2 weeks ago. So he's not committing something like this if it's going to interfere with a long-term basketball play. But nonetheless, I think it's great content. I don't know. How much did you watch of it
So
or listen, whatever?
no,
It's,
I
it's
got
something you got to watch, by the way, I think.
yeah. You
You
have
can
to do
listen to it,
both.
but I think you got to watch it.
I listened to 32 minutes. What I did was I normally do like coaching and stuff like that on Tuesday. So on the drive home and then also driving from work, I got through 32 minutes. So I heard all up to the Allen Iverson and then, the light skin effort part. And
Yeah.
so
That's good.
I got through all of that. And then I heard like the snippets of when he talked about Jason Tatum and then Nikola Jokic as well. So
Yes.
I essentially heard the whole thing. The big thing is, like Steven said, it's not for the average person because I heard it and I said, hold up, I need to rewind it to process everything that they kind of said because half of the terminal and JJ Redick is probably one of the best people to explain it. He's almost like the new school Morgan Freeman for this because he legit said, this is what LeBron's about to talk about, and I'm going to break down what this means because he knew. I know my wife and my kids probably don't understand this, so I know
Yeah.
you're not going to understand
It's
it.
it's very on the fly, but and they go at a good pace where they don't stop and break something down. Like that's why the graphics are there, the visuals that they have are there. It's so you can keep it. It was only 45 minutes, I think. So it's not
Yeah,
an hour and 15 or anything like that.
yeah.
So but they do a good job of if it is something they need to break down, they'll do it. But
Mm-hmm.
they just go and it's which is even better that they don't stop and explain things because it just lets their basketball IQ be heard and it lets them because I know you probably feel the same way, but I think that I know the game pretty well. And I would say this
Mm-hmm.
about football as well. I think I know, what I'm talking about. But then I talk to someone like Jay Hill and I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
let me stay in my
they
lane. Let
just
me stay
know
in
it
my lane.
different.
And
Yeah.
yeah, it's different. Like the knowledge it's different from basketball, football, obviously, because you're doing more or less sometimes. But yeah, it's still. I think it's going to be great content. And
Mm-hmm.
people who hate LeBron, I mean, I would give it a chance because again, their basketball knowledge is pretty crazy. So I would give it a chance. I think it's going to be
Yeah.
great though.
So last two things on this topic. One, yes, LeBron's time is coming to an end because, and I was really thinking about this while driving. He does this. He has to shop. He then has to watch his kids play sports. He then plays basketball. He has a wife. He then
He has a
has
win.
his
Yeah, we all
yeah
we all know who Savannah is now.
yeah
If
exactly.
you didn't know before,
You know now.
Thank you, the Genie Bus. We all know who Savannah is.
Then he has the whole production thing where of course he has a team that takes care of all this, but then he also owns a part of Liverpool. He has so many things that he's doing that you're adding another podcast. There's no way you're gonna be able to keep this up
A
for too
lot.
much longer. Yeah, so that's kind of the first thing. The second thing is you could definitely tell LeBron and JJ Redick aren't boys, but they both understand the game to a different level that they
Yeah.
can definitely chop it up. And I say that because if you look at his chemistry with his boys on the shop compared to him talking this, It's almost like two professors in college sitting down to explain the art of what it is to a whole class. And then they're able to talk about it. Another thing is they are some wine connoisseurs because the
They
way they were
are.
saying,
They are. They know, dude. They know their wine
no,
like nothing else, dude.
yeah. And you have to
That's
think
that was some old head talk too.
that was,
Yeah.
yes, like even the little things when LeBron would like lick it off his finger or the
Yeah.
way he would say,
Yeah.
oh, it
My man
smells
was not
good,
wasting a
a
drop.
drop.
No, sir.
And they both, but the amount of money they have because LeBron brought 2, 3 bottles, and then JJ said, "Oh, if you were coming to New York, I had wine up there too." Dog, I can talk to some of my friends and go places. They're not bringing wine to the occasion. It's just not what they think about.
That's the last thing I'm bringing, dude.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even know like I don't even know where to begin with wine, dude. I don't
Mm-hmm.
even like Moscato. I don't like. Is that what we still drink? I don't even know, bro. I'm gonna show up with a
So
jug of Moscato and call it a
I
day,
know.
bro.
So that was the first thing I wanted to talk about. Second thing, when we go into this conversation, are you able to pull up either CBS or ESPN for a bracket, or we're both going to do it on the fly?
Yeah, I got it.
But okay, but what we're going to do is Justin Fields. I want to talk about that. I want to know your thoughts on Justin Fields, but on the flip side, and I was talking to one of the homies in like fantasy football world, and we were saying, have you ever seen a team have such a stacked offense or defense in line for a number one overall pick?
What are we talking about? The Bears?
The Bears with Caleb
Um,
Williams.
I mean, yeah, I have a ton of thoughts on like that whole situation. I don't think the Bears like unless they also have what like the seventh or eighth pick, right?
I think it's the 11th. Well, sorry. Yeah, you're
They they
probably
they have
correct.
they have it in the top 10 pick.
Mm-hmm.
So my guess is if I'm playing general manager, if I'm playing hypothetical general manager, I'm assuming they'll go Caleb Williams at one, and
Yeah,
then hope that Olu Fashanu, left tackle from Penn State, or Joe Alt, left tackle from Notre Dame, are at that seventh,
they have
eighth,
9.
ninth pick. I don't think either one of those guys are going to be there, to be honest with you. I don't think they, but no, let me take it back. I think they will be. I don't think they should be. So the Bears can get lucky with that. Or draft day, they trade up to 5 or 6 and guarantee that they'll get one of those two guys. And they trade the team who obviously doesn't need one, but a left tackle in a lot of cases isn't the worst in the draft. So I think obviously, yes, they'll go with Caleb Williams. I think the Commanders at 2 will take Drake May or Jaden Daniels. It seems like Jaden Daniels is going to be the guy. And
He's
then,
moved up.
yeah, I guess. I don't know why, but sure. I don't trust either one of the quarterbacks outside of Caleb Williams. I trust Caleb Williams, but like the shit that he does in college ain't gonna fly in the pros. Like what he does on the
Mm-hmm.
field, he's not Lamar Jackson, he's not Michael Vick, um, he's not like he's not Russell Wilson on the go, like back in the day, Russell Wilson, who had the accuracy like that. No, that not a lot of people did. So and he's not, he's not Aaron Rodgers, like he's not that dude. He's he's an elite talent, but he's got to become more of a pocket guy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I wouldn't have traded Justin Fields. I get it. I get why, but unless they're going to draft or sign a left tackle or like fix up the offensive line somehow, like you can't protect your starting quarterback now. How are you going to protect another potential hopeful franchise quarterback?
Mm-hmm.
I would have built around Justin Fields. I would have drafted an offense. I would have drafted, move back or whatever, and the Commanders draft just Caleb Williams, and then you draft Marvin Harrison Jr., draft around him, and then draft a tackle or something and protect him and protect Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields is like closer to elite than people want to think. I saw him in college do what he could do with a good offensive line, a good system, and talent around him. I know the talent was, monumental with the guys he had at receiver, but like, I don't know. I wouldn't have given up on Justin Fields like they did. But that being said, I am a Steelers fan, so fuck the Bears and let's go Steelers.
Yeah.
We gave up $1.2 million in a six round pick for Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. Russell
W.
Wilson, I'm guessing is on a prove it deal. He does well. I don't think the Steelers signed him because they wouldn't have signed Justin Fields or traded for him if that was going to be the case, and someone will. So yeah, I mean, shout out to the Steelers, man. They made it happen. George Pickens is probably pumped. Our running backs are, tight ends are. So, yeah, I mean, we talked about last week I think we talked about last week with the Russell Wilson, right?
Mm-hmm.
Russell, I forget if we did or not.
Yep.
But anyway, yeah, being a Steelers fan, I'm pumped. So shout out to the Bears for giving us Justin Fields basically for a bag of chips, and shout out to Russell Wilson for only costing $1.2 million.
Yeah. So that's kind of the big thing. On the flip side, Mike Williams also just signed with the New York Jets, which is, and I was telling
1 year,
somebody,
$15 million.
yeah, that's stupid. So that's
Jeez.
like solid. I think it was the Jets just signed a lineman, and in his contract, it was incentives for every time the Jets win. Do you know how pissed I would be if I had an incentive for my team winning and I'm a lineman?
Tyron Smith.
Yes,
You're from the Cowboys, right?
yes,
Yeah. Fun
exactly.
fact. Fun fact. That brace on his arm is actually a knee brace and not an arm brace. That's how big his
That's
arm is.
insane. That's
Shout
insane.
out.
Yeah, shout out. So that's kind of the big thing over there in terms of the sports world. Again, if you want to listen to more in-depth stuff that we didn't end up covering, I've been doing a series of Rolling with Hayes. So I kind of cover some other NFL stuff. I've covered some NCAA stuff. We're not going to talk about the women's on here, but I do end up covering it on Rolling with Hayes because what Caitlin Clark is doing is big. I've told people Caitlin Clark's not going to win. There's a lot of people that believe that she's going to win. It's impossible. I promise you, South Carolina, LSU, UConn, even any of the Texas teams, they're not going to let Caitlin Clark win. All you have to Maryland, although they lost, Maryland set a blueprint that I think a lot of people started seeing. But also, if you just shut down Caitlin Clark, they have no team. Respectfully to the rest of the women that are out there. But I know what you all came for, and we're going to kind of get this started right now. And which one did you do, ESPN or CBS?
Are we picking, or are we just like, are we physically picking on the computer, or are we just saying who we think is gonna win?
So I will physically pick, but we can kind of talk through it like super fast.
Okay. All right. Then I'll go to ESPN and I'll pick one. All right, good deal. You can start. We'll start with what? Go with the East.
Yeah, let's see, where's mine? Because this thing is acting weird. Yeah,
All right.
yeah. So UConn against Stetson.
UConn.
So I have UConn in that one. FAU Northwestern.
I'm gonna go Northwestern.
Really? Okay. So just because of last year, I'm going FAU. Of course, that doesn't always mean anything. Here's the fun game because I was joking with some of my coworkers today. San Diego State, UAB.
It's that 5-12 matchup, which everyone always loves. I'm going UAB.
That's exactly what I was thinking. And I said, when in doubt, teams you can't trust, and this is a spoiler, ACC teams and San Diego State. And if anyone knows sports and like college basketball and NCAA tournament, Duke UNC know how to either just shit the bed sometimes, and San
Or
Diego
win it
State's
all.
another one, or win it all. Exactly. Auburn, Yale.
Yale.
So other thing is, yeah, we'll just keep going. BYU, Duquesne.
I'm gonna go. BYU.
Okay, Illinois, Morehead State.
I'm gonna go Morehead State.
Okay, so I'm
Illinois
just
is good.
going.
I'm going Morehead State.
Yeah, I was going Illinois just because of what the homie's been doing in his last couple of games. Washington
He
State,
has
yeah,
been.
he's been going stupid. Washington
Yeah.
State, Drake.
Washington State.
I don't know why. I haven't looked, but I'm going Drake. Iowa State, South Dakota State.
Iowa State.
I have Iowa State. Are we going down to West? Or you want to
Yeah.
just keep going? Okay. UNC against either
I'm
Howard
go-
or Wagner.
I'm going UNC. If it's Howard, like I'm not nervous. Me being Carolina guy, I'm not gonna say I'm nervous, but if it's Howard, it's gonna be a close game.
That's a
And
deep
I
one.
saw
Okay.
that. I had some of our friends over on Sunday, and me and one of my boys were watching the tournament thing, the Selection Sunday on CBS, and that game came up. I saw Howard Wagner. We both looked at each other like, "Damn, Howard! Howard's good. Like people don't know, you're gonna know. It's a lot closer game than thought. If it's Wagner, then get him out of here."
Yeah. So I have UNC. Next one is Mississippi State and Michigan State.
I'm gonna go Michigan State. Also, I will say Carolina. If Carolina's gonna win, watch out for my guy Cormac Ryan. He's gonna be
Yes.
he's the one that people hoop fans know who he is. College basketball fans know who he is. If Carolina's gonna win it all, obviously RJ Davis, Armando Bacot got to do their thing. But I think Cormac Ryan can be that X factor. But
Mhm.
St. Mary's, Grand Canyon. Oh, who'd you pick?
So
Michigan State, Mississippi State.
no, Mississippi State. I'm
All
only
right.
doing that because some dude at work, he said his cousin he didn't know plays for Michigan State. First off, I promise you, I will know if my actual cousin plays for
Yeah,
Michigan
come on.
State. You're one of those people that, oh my gosh, I just found out. We have to support him. No, don't do that. St. Mary's against Grand Canyon.
Um, I'm gonna go Grand Canyon because they got some swag.
Wow. Okay.
I know.
I'm I'm going St. Mary's just because don't really know much. Alabama, Charleston.
Roll Tide.
Okay. So Clemson, New Mexico.
I'm gonna go New Mexico. I don't trust Clemson
Oh,
basketball in any capacity.
okay. Because I was going New Mexico. Baylor, Colgate.
Colgate's a toothpaste. I'm gonna go Baylor.
So before we keep going, I want people to know when they set up the bracket and everything, some of this is a bias because there's no reason why the number 2 seed in this one, which I'm not going to say, is going up against now a former team, the number 1 seed. These are done on purpose. There's no way in hell those two are just all of a sudden in the same
No.
bracket because they would want to see that in like the Elite Eight or the Final Four type stuff. So Dayton, Nevada.
Dayton, the Friars.
So I have Dayton, and then now the game I was talking about, which this is messed up, but Arizona against Long Beach State.
Arizona. You talking about if Arizona makes the Elite Eight and they play
Yep,
Carolina? Yeah,
exactly.
that'd be pretty
Yeah,
dope. Everyone
yes,
wants that.
exactly.
Yeah,
And you know they want to see it. But on the flip side, Long Beach State, I don't know why you had to put them up there
yeah,
against this team when Long Beach State, people wanted to see them win. And you
yeah,
know, the directors probably called and said, end this shit now. Like he
yeah,
needs to go.
yeah. Keep him on the
uh
bus.
yeah. So we'll go to the Midwest because I assume that's at the bottom.
Uh-huh.
Purdue against whoever.
Purdue. I don't think it's their year, but Purdue.
It's never their year.
No, it's
So
not.
I'm choosing Purdue, Utah State, TCU.
TCU.
I'm going Utah State. Don't really know Gonzaga and McNeese.
I'm gonna go with McNeese State. This is Gonzaga's a bunch of choke artists. It always have been.
Okay. So what's wild is ever since they switched up how Gonzaga, the teams they play, Gonzaga's not that same team anymore. They were winning for years, and now they switched it up, and now they're not. Kansas, Stanford.
I'm gonna go Stanford. Kansas is falling
Okay.
apart right now.
One thing I will say about Kansas, shout out to them because they said for like the past 20 years or so, they've been a top 5 seed or higher.
Mm-hmm.
And that's insane. And
Mm-hmm.
it's been Bill Self. But South Carolina, Oregon.
I watched the Oregon Colorado game Saturday night, I think it was. Shout out to Oregon. I'm going Oregon.
Yeah, that's exactly what I have my clicker
I
on.
don't know
I'm
how to
going.
pronounce the guy's name, but he went 12 for 12 and had
Mm-hmm.
a crazy dump block. And yeah, I'm gonna go for whatever reason. I'm gonna go Oregon.
Creighton, Akron.
Creighton.
I got Creighton. Texas against UVA or whoever.
Um, Texas. How come?
So I'm going Texas. Tennessee against St. Peter's.
I'm gonna go Tennessee.
So this is going to be crazy, and I know it's going to be wrong. I'm going St. Peter's. And the thing is, I don't really
Did
know
they had
where
a
that
run?
upset's going to be. They did.
They had a run.
I don't know how many people saw the St. Peter's final game, but it was one to watch. Houston Longwood,
Houston.
Nebraska, Texas A&M.
I guess Nebraska.
So I'm just going Texas
That might be
A&M
the
because
worst
they have
game of the first round.
yeah. I'm going Texas A&M because they have more money. James Madison, Wisconsin.
I'll go Wisconsin.
I don't really have a choice on this one. I have to go JMU.
Sure.
Duke, Vermont.
I'll go Duke.
I got Duke.
Talent will win out that game. Yes.
Texas Tech, NC State. So this
NC
before you say anything, NC State won the tournament. Sorry, the ACC tournament, and they're an 11 seed.
Yeah.
That is wild. But Texas Tech,
Um,
NC State.
NC State. They got a lot of momentum right now, being Duke
Yep.
and Carolina in the ACC tournament.
One game that I'm excited for, it's on March 21st, Kentucky, Oakland.
I'll go Kentucky.
I only care about the two players on Kentucky. Florida against one of the two teams.
Florida.
I'm going to go random and choose one of the two teams. Marquette, Western Kentucky.
Marquette. Doesn't Shaka Smart look like my boy Shotsky Mike? A light-skinned version
Yo,
of Shotsky Mike
yes,
with hair.
I know.
That's funny.
So we made it to round of 32, which we're
Yep.
doing good with time. UConn, FAU.
UConn.
So I'm going UConn, UA. Damn, I guess I chose Yale. UAB against Yale. I mean, sorry. Whoever you have in that game.
Yeah, sure. I have UAB, Yale. I'm gonna go UAB.
Okay, I have UAB as well. Your next one. So the winners of the 6-11, 3-14.
I have BYU and Morehead State. I'm going Morehead State. They're gonna be my low seed taking a little run.
Okay, I have Illinois. So your bottom one, 7-10, 2-15.
I had Washington State, Iowa State. I'm going Iowa State.
So I'm going Iowa State too.
You want
Do
to
you
just
want to
finish
just
that
stay here? Yeah.
bracket? Yeah, all right, fair.
Yeah.
I don't feel like you breaking it down like that again.
So you're next to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, I got this. Let me do this. I got UConn and UAB. I'm going UConn, and I had Iowa State, Morehead State. I'm going Iowa State, and then I have UConn, Iowa State. I got UConn going to the Final Four. Just do it like that, my guy.
Yeah. So the only difference is I have Iowa State going there. So mine, I had the BYU, Illinois, Drake, Iowa State. I have Iowa State up top, UConn, FAU, UConn, UAB, Yale, UAB. So then I'm gonna go with Iowa State. You want to go down or to the other side?
We'll go down.
Okay.
All right. I got Carolina, Michigan State. I'm gonna go. I feel like they play in the tournament like every other year. I'm going Carolina. I got 12 Grand Canyon versus number 4 Bama. I'm gonna go Bama. I got New Mexico and Baylor. I'm going Baylor. I got Dayton, Arizona. I got Arizona. And then in my Sweet 16, I got Carolina, Alabama, Baylor, and Arizona. I got Carolina beating Bama, and I got Arizona going against Carolina. Getting that Caleb Love versus RJ Davis, Arizona, Carolina matchup.
Okay. Who you got?
Oh, I got Carolina. Sorry. My bad. So I got on one side of the Final Four, I got Carolina versus UConn, both number 1 seeds.
Okay. So for mine, North Carolina against Mississippi State. Yes, I got to disappoint people. I'm going Mississippi State. St. Mary's against Alabama. I'm going Alabama. Don't ask me why. New Mexico against Baylor. I'm going Baylor. Dayton against Arizona. I'm going Arizona. Baylor against Arizona. I'm going Arizona because I feel as though Caleb Love is on his revenge tour and he's going to be mad that North Carolina didn't get there. Mississippi State against Alabama. I am going Mississippi State. Do I know why? No. Mississippi State against Arizona. I am going Arizona. I don't know why I have so much confidence in Arizona, but on that side, I have the 2 number 2s. Steven has the 2 number 1s. So I have Iowa State against Arizona. So far, if we were to break down the commentary in the middle, Steven seems like he's drafting like Unk right now. And Shannon Sharp just chose straight number 1s. So we're going to go to the other side.
All right. Going to the South? Or are we just going over? Okay. Going to the South. I got Houston beating Nebraska. I have Duke beating Wisconsin. I have NC State beating Kentucky. And I got Marquette beating Florida. I got Florida beating NC State, moving on to the Elite 8 or to the Sweet 16. No, Elite 8. And then I got Houston moving on to play Marquette in the Elite 8. And then I got Marquette going to the Final Four, beating Houston.
Okay. So
I have a number 2. I have a number 2 seed in there.
You do? Okay. So for mine, Houston, Texas A&M. Normally I would just go with who has more money, but I'm going to go with Houston in this one. JMU against the other Duke team. And I'm going to go with the Virginia Dukes. So I'm going with JMU in that one. So I have a 12 moving on. Do I know why? No, I've just seen them go on a run a little bit. NC State against Kentucky. I believe in Mr. Dillingham, so I'm going with Kentucky. And then the other homie, I have whoever is going to win the 10 game against Marquette, and I'm going with Marquette. Then I have Kentucky against Marquette. I am going to go with Marquette, reason being because Kentucky doesn't actually know how to win outside of 1 year. Fun fact, they were talking about that. They said John Calipari only has one championship to show for all those different superstars he's ever sent.
I also think he only has like 2 national title appearances, maybe.
Yeah.
And maybe not even that. But that's a lot of talent to waste and to not come away with anything. Dude, they were like 30-0 1 year, right? Something like that. And they lost to fucking Frank Kaminsky in Wisconsin.
Yes.
Like, what the hell, bro?
Yes.
Frank Kaminsky. So annoying.
I know.
Bunch of white dudes.
So then Houston against JMU, and I have Houston, and then Houston against Marquette, and I'm going to go. That's a tough one. Shaka. Houston, although I want Shaka, I really do want Shaka to get there, but that's my only number one. So now we can go to the Midwest.
I got Purdue. No one in this bracket has size that can compete with Purdue. I don't trust them to win it all, but I trust them to get out of this. So I got Purdue over TCU. I got McNeese over Samford. I got Creighton over Oregon, and I got Tennessee over Texas. I got Tennessee beating Creighton, and I got Purdue beating McNeese. I'm going to go Tennessee simply because I think Purdue is also modern day Gonzaga, a bunch of choke artists. So I'm going to go with Tennessee. So I got on one side, I got UConn and Carolina, a bunch of the Blue Bloods and the defending national champs in UConn. And then I got a low key Blue Blood Marquette, and then a once every 10 year type of thing with Tennessee. I know they've been good recently, but
they had a solid team.
Yeah, they got that white dude.
Yeah.
Shout out to the white dude, the white hoopers out there in college basketball.
Yeah.
So I got Marquette versus Tennessee. Do you want me to finish it off?
Yeah, you can.
I got Carolina beating UConn. and I got Tennessee beating Marquette. And I got Carolina, Tennessee national title game. It's gonna be a battle of white dudes. Cormac Ryan versus that white dude from Tennessee. I got Cormac Ryan out dueling him in a 3-point contest. I got Carolina cutting down the Nets on a revenge tour. Speaking of that, they didn't make the tournament last year. Hubert Davis brings it back to Chapel Hill. It's a party on Franklin Street. Carolina wins 72-66.
Man, the last time I heard Steven talk like this was when we were at a bar and he said that Christian Hackenberg was
okay, wow, that's fucked up. Wow, damn. Damn, bro, that's messed up, man. I didn't see that coming. Damn, that was like 10 years ago. God damn. Jeez.
So that Purdue hurt. against
I was in the bathroom when he got picked too. Like a
you were.
Yeah,
I believed it. So that's why I'm believing it again this year. Jeez. But Purdue against Utah State, I'm going Purdue. Gonzaga against Kansas, I'm going Kansas. Oregon against Creighton, I'm going Creighton, although that's a terrible pick. Texas against St. Peter's, I'm going Texas. Why? Because they have more oil money. Texas against Creighton, I'm going Texas. Why? Because they definitely have more money than Creighton. Thanks. Purdue against Kansas, I'm going Kansas. Why? Because Bill Self can randomly win games. So Kansas against Texas, I'm going Kansas. Why? Because it's Bill Self. And then I have Houston against Kansas, and then Iowa State against Arizona. And then with this, I don't think Iowa State will ever touch a national championship game, so I'm going Arizona. Why? Because Caleb Love definitely wants to be able to just sit on top of the hoop and look down at UNC. On the other side, Houston against Kansas, I'm going with Houston, and I think Mr. Sampson is finally going to get there. And then Houston against Arizona, I don't see Houston doing it. Why? Because they don't have as much money as the people in Glendale, Arizona, and the game is in Arizona. Plot twist. So Max. Arizona. And then the score I have is I'm not as good as Steven picking scores, so I'm going to go 1-1. So, and that's how I'm going. All right, that's how I'm going to leave it. What you got?
It's a big week for your boy. My son turns 5 on Thursday, and I turned 32 on Friday. But the NCAA tournament always falls on my birthday, whether it's the first round, second round, whatever day it is. So I took off Thursday, hang out with the homie on Thursday for his birthday. We got to go into school and do some like birthday stuff for him, but
Mm-hmm.
took off a day on Thursday to hang out with him. Friday, took off the day as well, obviously, because my birthday's on a
Oh,
Friday.
see,
Like, bro,
you have to
shout out
take
to
off back-to-back days.
bro,
Shout
shout
out.
out to yeah, right. That's like only in sports type of thing. Back to
It
backs, take
is
off.
only in sports. Yeah.
Load management. That little load management I gotta do.
Yes.
Um, so I took off on Friday. I'm gonna go post up at the bar,
Okay.
watch the
Because you know
games
he
like
drinks now.
midday. Yeah. You know, I get one or two times a year to do whatever I want, be a free spirit. So this is one of those 2 times. The other one
Mm-hmm.
is during the football season. So I'm gonna go post up at the bar. We got dinner reservations with some of our friends, and then we're going to Top Golf in Baltimore to do that.
Mm,
With the homies. Shout out to the homies.
shout out.
And then Saturday, you and the boys are all coming
Yep.
over. We do like we did last year, fucking all day, just watch hoops, and then we'll
Mm-hmm.
go from there. By the way, BYOB.
Yep.
And I got do some all order shit ton of pizza, all that kind of good stuff. But doors open at 11 or no 12.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good stretch. I don't know what the weather's gonna be like, but it don't matter because it's my birthday. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm pumped that my birthday's on a Friday this year. That's
Yo,
always that's
that's
always the
good.
key. So yeah, I'm pumped about that. But yeah, it should be good. Should be a good stretch. So tomorrow's my Friday, so I'm gonna enjoy it, and
It's
then
Wednesday.
we
I
kick it
know.
off on Thursday. So let's get it.
Yeah. So those are kind of the two big things. So happy birthday to the homies. One, because it's dope. Y'all are in the same week. And then the other one is in February. A couple of things. So one is I went to a basketball game on Sunday with my mom. So I went to go see the Celtics and Wizards. One, that place was straight Boston. You don't even see Wizards people in there. Two, so my mom's the type that she can't sit up top and then she can't sit in the middle of an aisle. She has to like be on the end. And I was
Sure.
like, damn, I didn't think about where. Thankfully, the row we chose, we were on the end. And then she was like, oh, this is great. Like, I get to end up seeing the players. She was hyped to see Jason Tatum. But what's funny is here's the kicker because we were texting during the game and then at the next game. So Jason Tatum played that game, but Kristaps Porzingis and Jaylen Brown did not play, and neither
Ah,
did Derek White. And I was like, watch them play the next game. Who they play the next day? The Pistons. Jason Tatum was out, and then Brown, Porzingis, and
yeah,
White played.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I said, that's when you know they don't give a damn.
No,
And what happened both games? They waxed the floor with the
wax.
team.
Yep.
So that's wild when they didn't have to do it. What I was pissed about is nobody in the arena cared about Jason Tatum, none of them in the middle of the game. They cared about Sam Hauser because my man had 10 3-pointers and then got injured. I was so pissed because it was something you've never seen like that. It
Sure.
was just
Yeah. Yeah.
stroking. So 10 threes, and then he gets injured. And then everyone like started giving him a round of applause. People left because they were like, the game's like 30 points. There's no point in staying. Jordan Poole had a quiet 30 himself. And I'm just like, Jordan, they were saying, yo, this is the last time Jordan's going to start. Like, when are these people going to leave? He's never going to leave. Why? Only in sports because he's going to keep that money and he don't
Yeah.
have to do anything.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, so that was the big thing over there. Then the other part is shout out to my job. Not going to say where because I'm going to start saying some ignorant stories there.
Shout out.
But so we've been trying to plan what week me and my boss are going to go to Sweden. And they have so much money that we've been still trying to figure it out. Mind you, if this was my trip, I would have been had it planned, and we're going like April 22nd. There's no way a month in advance I'm gonna say, "Yep, I'm hopping on a plane to go to Sweden," because I'm tickets are gonna be too expensive for me. But they said, "Yeah, we'll just figure it out when we figure it out." Still no confirmation, so it's not gonna happen this week. It's gonna happen next week. So kind of shout out to all the jobs or
Shout
basketball
out.
teams or sports that actually have money to do random different things, and then they're like, "Oh, you can just pay for it. You can get the points, or we'll reimburse you for it." So I was like, if y'all got money like that, then
Yeah.
I'll end up doing it that way. But
Fucking money.
I'll link up with the homie on the weekend. And until next time, we out.
Peace.